to the thefogvlog.
Okay guys, welcome to TFV. Today we are talking about NETs. I have got Ty here from Sticks Mix. Ty, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, how you doing? Get the clouds out of my face.
Guys, Ty has, not very recently, but I would say in this year, I've started seeing Sticks Mix appear on the shelves here in South Africa. Myself and Ty got in touch, and we decided that we need to just do a little bit more information on NETs, what Sticks Mix is, and how this whole thing got together. Just to give a little bit more information out to, the South African market, as well as anybody who clicks on this video, that's subscribed to this channel and that kind of thing. So got a couple of questions lined up here for Ty. Ty, where exactly are you based?
Based out of LA, Los Angeles, California. I'm basically in the Ventura County area of Southern California. Got started in about 2015. I started playing around with NETs. A little background on, I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, hence the name Sticks. I kind of been called, got the drums in the back. I'm gonna be playing later myself. I was an avid cigar smoker for a number of years, and I ran across some stuff on Reddit, kind of reading through it, and then I just started experimenting. And I got a bunch of things filtered out and things, and I gave them out to some mixers that I was finding in the groups, and I got my stuff out to them and let them play around with it, and I got positive feedback from everybody about it. So I thought, why not keep it going? So that's kind of how I got started.
So that's how Sticks Mix started. You found something on Reddit. And you were smoking cigars, right? So you were.
Well, I've been smoking cigarettes, and that's how I got into vaping. I got tired of cigarettes, you know what I mean? But I love the taste of a good tobacco, and I've been an avid cigar smoker for a number of years, and so that's kind of how it all started. And
was there like a point at which you were getting into vaping? You wanted to see, okay, where can I get tobacco-like flavors or that kind of thing? Maybe potentially couldn't find anything, went on to Reddit. Was that the sort of route that you followed?
Yeah, that was kind of the route. I've experimented with a lot of synthetic tobaccos, but I wasn't really getting the woodsy. I wasn't getting a lot of the nuances that I was looking for in a good tobacco. So, like when you smoke a cigar, you've got a blend of three tobaccos coming together. You got the filler, the binder, and the wrapper, which make up a fine cigar. And I was trying to replicate one of my favorites, which is a Partagas Series D number 4, the Habanos, and I just kept playing around, with that, and that's kind of what started the whole thing, basically. And then I got in touch with a cigar or a leaf company, and pulled a lot of their stuff over and started playing around with it and experimenting.
That kind of comes to the next thing that I was interested in. Just a little bit more around, not in detail what what NETs are and how you create them. So if you can just run us through. What are NETs? I mean, I know it's naturally extracted tobaccos, right? But what is the high level sort of process? How do you do that?
Well, the process runs. It takes a lot of time, which is kind of why the price range is a little high. There's a lot of time involved in it, and I know they're pricey, but compared to a lot of other net companies I've seen out there, the price is minimal compared to what they're charging. I'm not going to name names, but anyway, the process is basically it's propylene glycol, and it's heated and cooled multiple times to get the most out of the leaf. I've found that when you cool it, and actually freeze it, it's got to be frozen for a period and then heated back up. That opens up the capillaries in the leaf, bringing out a lot more flavor in it. The process takes anywhere from a week to 2 weeks just to do one batch. And then it's got to steep. It's got to steep for a number of months sometimes. So that's what, that's kind of what got me started in that. I would just make a bunch and then put it away and let it sit. And then I'd get it out to some of these mixers and see what they thought. And I've got positive feedback from everybody about it. So I just, that's kind of how it goes. The final process is micron filtering. Micron filtering is what takes a lot of the gunk out. You got to remember it's an organic material. So you're going to get that. You're going to get that in some, and not all, but I try to get out as much as possible. And that's where it comes down in the end, is the micron filtering. And that I do multiple passes with micron filtering to get everything out that I can.
So, excuse my ignorance on this. I've done some experimenting with NETs, but haven't really spoken to anybody that creates them. So, that the tobacco leaf itself, it has flavor and it has nicotine as well, right? So how is it that you kind of separate those?
Well, when I had them tested, they've come back with 0.03 to maybe 0.05 nicotine level, which is under 1%, where the FDA jumps in and gets involved. And I mean, some leaves have more nicotine than others. Some have zero. And it all depends on the leaf itself. I find a lot of the darker leaves have a little bit of a higher percent of tobacco, but like I said, it all depends on the leaf. And so, I mean, for anybody that's really, battles with that, there's nicotine, yes, but there's not a level that needs to be worried about.
Okay. So super low nicotine levels, right? So that transfers, through that micro, what exactly did you call it?
Micron filtering.
Micron filtering. So you get all the gunk out, and then you're left with flavor and a tiny little bit of nicotine in your NET. But I had a look at everything that you do. I mean, it's not just tobaccos; it's coffees and teas as well, right?
Yeah.
So
I've experimented with a lot of different things. I had somebody contact me. I do extractions for people anyway. Outside of what I do, and I had a guy contact me talking about cheese, and I hadn't really played with it yet, and I did a batch for him, and that's where I came up with Turner's tea. That's what started the tea kind of thing. And his last name is Turner, that's why I just called it Turner's tea. You know what I mean? And Freddie, if you're watching this, that's all for you, brother. That's kind of how I got started with that, and there's I mean, that was basically it.
Yeah, and
I started playing around with coffees also.
Yeah,
and I see a lot of speculation out there on that, but I don't know. It comes to the point. It's all safe, but I mean, we smoked cigarettes for 30 years or whatever it was, with all the chemicals and stuff that go into cigarettes, and people were talking about lipids and things like that. That can be filtered out. That can be filtered out, and that's what I've discovered, is that I've gotten to that. I've had them tested, and they all come back clean. So, that kind of debunks a lot what people are saying. Don't do this in your kitchen. You know what I mean? It's got to be done in a safe environment. But that's basically what I started doing.
Yeah, I went digging myself and found quite a couple of threads, on coffee specific, where people were warning, don't do this if you don't know what the hell you're doing, right. Because of course there's a process applied here. This is not something you can do in your kitchen necessarily safely. You need to understand exactly what you're doing.
Right.
Now, 2015 you started. And it was more personal thing for yourself. Now, where are you shipping to?
I ship worldwide. So, like, anybody can contact me either through my website, which is in the works still. It's kind of a. I'm not happy with it, but I'm working with some people right now that are trying to put something together for me. Anyway, I mean, I ship worldwide, and if you can't do anything from my site, you can always contact me at sticksmix@gmail.com or sticksmix@admin at sticksmix.com, and I'll get back to you. Usually, I get contacted by a lot of people around the world that just reach out to me that way, and it's a lot easier sometimes. I mean, if you don't want to go to the website, a lot of people don't use PayPal, which is the only kind of way that I'm working with right now. I don't have credit card processing, so it's kind of still in its infancy. I started this thing, and it's taken off, but it's not. I'm not trying to be some huge flavoring company. I mean, it's
like a niche thing. Yeah,
it is a niche thing, and I mean, my stuff is a lot of different places. But it is a niche. People aren't always looking for the bakery stuff. They're looking for the fruits, things like that. And when it comes to tobaccos, they're really not. It's kind of still in its infancy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if even digging on forums, you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper to find the people that are nerding out about tobaccos and NETs. Yeah. I mean, DIY is a subset of a subset. Then tobaccos is a subset of a subset, and then NETs is a subset of that. So it's very small. But I do see people really into this stuff. In South Africa, where can people find Sticks Mix? I know BLCK has it, right?
Yeah, Black Vapor has it. I don't have any other outlets out there yet, so. I'm in Canada. I'm in a bunch of different places. I'm in the UK. Chefs had my stuff for a little while. I kind of don't know what happened with them. I reached out to Lewis. I haven't heard back from him. Nom Noms carries it. And I had a couple people reach out to me from Italy. Might be going out there. Like I said, I'm in Canada at DIY Juice. I'm at Wizard Labs in Florida. I was at Nicotine River for a while, but I think they're kind of getting away from that. I don't know what happened with that, but like I said, it's basically for DIYers. It's not really mainstream yet, but I'm getting there.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, Ty. The next portion of this is going to be, of course, us going into detail about 5 or 6 flavors that Ty said from a tobacco point of view we need to spotlight. So thank you so much, Ty. We're going to jump into the flavor notes and potential application of those 5 concentrates. Cheers, Ty.
Thank you again, Theo. Have a great day.
Cool. Okay, so here we are. I have got a couple of hosts here that I want to introduce you to. First off, I'll start with Rudi, aka Rudi, raising the bar, one juice at a time.
That's me. That's me.
You guys might know him from Vape Fuel. Welcome, Rudi.
How's it? And nice to be here on a bright and breezy morning instead of a late afternoon.
Yeah. Happy anniversary for Friday.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, it was. We had a bit of an adult weekend, so to speak. Nice. No children for 48 hours, so we didn't quite know what to do. But it was good. Yeah. So 11 years. No children, no dog, no cats, no nothing. So it's a bit of a shock to the system, but we managed to dance the night away and have a few shots and all good things. Yeah,
Oh, very cool, man. Thanks for joining. Then we have Guy here as well from Pied Piper Commercial Line, tobacco enthusiast. Welcome, Guy.
Yeah, how's it going?
Very cool. Thank you so much for joining. This is the first time we have Guy on here. I met Guy on the BLCK WhatsApp group, and we've just been chatting about stuff ever since. So welcome, Guy. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So we've got 5 flavors that we want to focus on. They're all going to be tobacco today. I'm going to kick off with Latakia from Sticks Mix. Okay, so everything we're doing today is, of course, NETs. I had a discussion with Ty yesterday around what is NETs, how are they made, and all that stuff. So today, all we're doing here is we're just going in on notes, what experiences are with testing out some of these flavors. So Latakia is the one that we're starting with. So notes I got from this here, was that it was kind of smoky, leafy, sort of tobacco notes, nice aroma to it. What did you guys think?
Yeah. Well, Guy, you want to kick off and then I'll fill in the gaps what you've got.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So definitely agree with the dark and smoky side of that. Out of all of the Sticks Mix the flavors that I've tried, this has probably got to be one of the darker, probably the most smoky, and some pretty heavy spicy back notes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a peculiar one. So it's similar to Black Note. So it has a very one of the descriptions I found is it tastes and smells like a mild fire log.
Yeah.
So it has that very burny, ashy taste to it, but it's not an off-putting or as overpowering as Black Note. So it's almost like a campfire type vibe. So
Yeah.
if you burn logs on a fire, not normal cheap wood, like a nice heavy wood, it gives you that funny burnt ash flavor, and especially if you go into the Kruger and you get some exotic woods that you burn, it's got that sort of vibe. So it gives it like an ashy, heavy note to it. So this, I don't think is you can probably do it as a single flavor, but this would work nicely as a little accent right at the end to provide that authenticity of a sort of a cigar to it and give you a nice, deep, authentic cigar with the ash type vibe to it. Will pair very nicely with a bit of vanilla and caramel to brighten up the sweetness, because it is a relatively dark tobacco, so it's not light and vibrant. It lends itself to be dark in the main body of the profile, and probably used low, about 1%, 1.5% perhaps to a normal mix if you want to add some additional authenticness to a plain Jane A+ blend or something like that. This one will give it a very rich and dark ashy tobacco flavor, which is very peculiar at first. When you taste it the first time, it's almost shocking that you get this ashiness from it, the smokiness from it. But once you've got a few drags in, it actually becomes very, very pleasant, and you can get hooked on this. It is it's got that little something that makes you want more, just to taste a bit more of the fullness of the whole flavor.
Yeah, so I thought this one was super smooth, even though it has that, woodsy sort of aroma, dark aroma to it, and smokiness. It like Rudi said, it's not so full-bodied. This is an accent, but quite a prominent one. I found here that you have to be careful with this one. So if you want to pair it with the vanilla, you can go with a creamy vanilla, but you have to be careful because of the subtleties of that smoky sort of ashy woodsy notes that you're getting here. So going in hard with a cream or creamy vanilla might cover some of that up. So you have to be careful with that. And that was pretty much it. Guy, what did you think? What would be applications with this one?
Yeah, I agree with you on the vanilla. I would. It is something that you would want to, I suppose, water down some of the spicy notes a little bit. It would. The vanillas would probably bring through some of the. Okay, all of these NETs have a flavor called Tobacco Absolute, or if you want that translated, it would be the earthy taste. That you get in a tobacco, and all of the NETs have different levels. Some have more of a Tobacco Absolute note than others, and I wouldn't do too much more than bringing this through with vanilla, maybe a touch of honey just to sweeten it up a bit. yeah, that's my thoughts on that. This tobacco, if you had to compare this to a artificial flavored type of Latakia, this is going to be a lot softer and a lot more real. Whereas your artificial type flavors of Latakias, etc., tend to be a lot sharper, a lot more prominent. So overall, if you wanted to use a Latakia, you wanted to be safe, this is the one to go for.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the maybe a bit of a honey, because I'm just vaping it now again, and it's got this right at the end. There's a slight sweetness that comes in, and I think just a touch of honey will probably just accentuate that and just pull it through a little bit more. But beautiful, man. It's a stunning tobacco.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of the ones that we tested, this one I found wasn't as sweet, so that natural sweetness from the honey will definitely help here, I believe.
Nice.
Cool. Guys, anything else you want to add to this, or do we move on to Black Cavendish?
Happy?
Okay, Black Cavendish. So, notes, slightly darker notes, not so upfront. It gave me some aromatic, woodsy, leafy realness. That's what I put down here. Super smooth. It's pipe tobacco, right? It's a little bit darker and it's a little bit deeper, but not so aromatic.
Yes. Agreed there. Also found it to be a very rich, dark, and well-rounded tobacco. You don't have any, and I don't pick up any noticeable notes of any form of smokiness or ash or anything like that. And somebody gave me actually a tip about, it was almost a year ago. And to complement that perfectly, mix it with some aged bourbon cream. It is absolutely outstanding.
Okay.
Fantastic.
So same here. I pick up a little bit of smokiness, but obviously not as heavy as the Latakia. But there's a slight smokiness to it, which is quite nice. And I just looked. I wanted to see what Cavendish means. So Cavendish is a securing method that they use when they do it, and when they ferment the tobacco, they use a pressure, and that is then steamed or heated. And that results in the tobacco leaves natural sweetness to be brought to the forefront when they steam under pressure, as opposed to just a normal fermentation process. This one is just done pressurized, so it gives you a nice, very clean flavor. So there's no interferences from other off notes that may be present in certain tobacco. So this one, because it's a Cavendish, it's nice and clean. Nice pipe tobacco, and also this one with a bit of custard and maybe with a bit of vanilla would work very nice. It's got a semi creaminess to it, so it's got this weird, like you say, it's a pipe tobacco, but it's not quite a plain tobacco. It's more lends itself to more robust sort of pipe tobacco, and to perhaps just break some of that harshness, not the harsh, the intrinsic qualities of it. With a little bit of caramel, with a little bit of custard, perhaps a bit of caramel, just to blend it nicely. I think will work nice. I saw something with a nice butterscotch application with this one, where they added a touch of butterscotch. And it's also, this one's also got this very light sweetness on the exhale, which is sort of the theme through all of these the NETs from sticks.
Yeah, boy.
It's got that slight sweetness. It's not overbearing at all. It's just the slight sweetness that makes the experience, it rounds it off nicely. Right at the end, you get this little surprise of sweetness. And I think that's probably what differentiates this line with some of the other tobacco flavors, where you get a very linear one tobacco flavor, where this is rounded, and you get a bit of the beginning, a bit of the middle, a bit of the end, and in this case, again, a nice sweet end to it, which is quite surprising.
Yeah. So for me here, I said here, it felt a bit lower, not flat, but not entirely full-bodied. Yes, there is definitely a cream. So I said here, or a creaminess to it, right? I would love to pair this with another tobacco, something that's a little bit spicy and leafy and top note. Or what you could do is you could potentially look at vanilla, like F.A. Tahiti, that's got that spiciness in it, to just lift this tobacco and give you like a fuller tobacco sort of experience or more leafy experience, right? Because this here is lower. It feels like I said here. It's got a natural sweetness to it, so you potentially don't have to go with honey here. The cream, if you pair this with the cream, it might cover it up because they're both sitting, on the lower spectrum. I said here a smidge of caramel, that's in the middle would be delicious here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Guys, want to add anything to that?
I think we covered it.
Cool.
Nice all-rounder.
Yeah, nice all-rounder. The next one was super interesting for me. A+ blend. Okay, so this one, for me, nutty like mid notes, lovely smooth body. I felt this one was kind of sweet, actually. It has a little bit of weight behind it. That's when I thought about this. What I really, the first thing that got into my mind is not the shell of a peanut, but the skin of the peanut, sort of like, delicacy to it. I don't know. When I say nutty, I'm not talking about a peanut or something, but just very sort of nutty-like nuances to this one. Guy?
Yes, okay. So, if you have not tried a Sticks Mix flavor as of yet, and you're a little bit worried to do so, this is the starting point. It is a very well balanced, it's a rich, it's got chocolatey notes in it for me. It's got pretty heavy nutty notes. I really, really do enjoy it. It's also got the kind of the perfect balance of that earthiness, that tobacco absolute note. And one of my favorite things to pair it with would be Flavor West's hazelnut. Really, really enjoy that at quite a high percentage. Very, very well balanced. Definitely the best introduction you're going to get to just about any tea on the planet. It is. It's a very well rounded, very well balanced, great starting point.
Yeah, same here. What I get, and when I looked at some of the notes and the recipes that the guys have done, is the first draw you get from this. That's the smell and the flavor is very reminiscent of opening a new packet of smokes from back in the day. When you open a pack of Stinkies, you get that smell that's been locked into that box for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, however long it was. And as soon as you release that foil, that smell is perfectly emulated in this. And it's almost like you can smell the foil paper as well. It's a very full, all-encompassing tobacco. So it's nice and light. The nuttiness, definitely, the sweetness is there. It's nice and a medium for any beginner. If they want to do a true tobacco, but they're scared of that harsh tobacco, strong tobacco notes that they get from other flavor companies, where it's a very heavy and overpowering dark tobacco. This is by far the best choice that's around. It could be mixed and blended with pretty much anything. I mean, you can add a bit of menthol in here. You can add, God forbid, a drop of strawberry. You can add vanilla, custard, caramel. This is a very, very forgiving and easy tobacco. And for any DIY guy that wants to dip his toe into tobaccos but scared, and they're scared about steep times, because there's this myth that Guy and I chatted about on Friday, that the reason I never got into tobaccos when I started DIY is everybody always said that tobaccos have to steep for 4 to 6 weeks. Tobaccos have to steep, and they're very niche. And if you're not a seasoned veteran DIY, don't even try.
Yeah.
And then you start with all these blends available, all the concentrates available, and the names are so foreign, you have no clue what's going on. And you just leave it. So my first year of DIY, I never ventured into tobacco because it was so daunting. And with this, I mean, this makes life so easy. So, I mean, at 6%, this blend you can do as a standalone with pleasure. It will remind you of a stinky, and it's got all of the notes in there. There's nothing that you would miss in here with a nice kick behind it, for you to ever want to pick up a smoke again. I mean, this stuff this A+ is this phenomenal. It is a all-rounder, easy, no mess, no fuss. Mix it at 6%, you can't go wrong, and you can literally shake and bake. You maybe give it a day at most. At a week, it's at its best. Mine's now been going for about 2 weeks. So after the first week to now, you can feel that it's in its place now. But a couple of days and you're ready to go. I mean, you can, if you want, do a shake and bake on this with pleasure. You can avoid this as or better than any strawberry or custard or bakery that you can find, and it delivers the flavor. Stunning.
Yeah, because because it's such a prominent sort of middle nutty note in tobacco, right? It makes this one quite versatile. So, you can put some kind of creaminess underneath this, or like a creamy vanilla. You can work with that. You can also think about this here in a dessert tobacco because of that spicy sort of nuttiness that it has, right? It would work wonderful like that. So I think this one is quite versatile. It's certainly one somebody can just pick up and get that tobacco experience from it. But also, if you want to blend it with, in a dessert kind of tobacco, it will work as well. So yeah, I really like this one. I can recommend this one for sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
And if you want to make this so it is mid-level. So it's not a very heavy, strong, over-complicated tobacco, and you can use this as a base and add another tobacco, just something stronger. Perhaps it's called the Supreme. Or perhaps a bit of Latakia, 1% at the end, just to bring it, or a bit of Turkish Oriental, just to give it a bit of spiciness. But yeah, this thing, I'm gonna have to buy a big bottle of it.
Yeah, because they say, I said here as well, I said useful to blend with other darker, spicy tobaccos, or useful as a dessert tobacco. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is going to be the perfect base to run off, just to add in those nuances that you would typically search for in cigars, your slightly rough, earthy, leafy notes. This is a perfect base just to use to build on and add those top notes.
Cool. So you guys want to move on to Canadian Virginian? So when I was smoking Stuyvesant Blue, and that was a Virginian blend, right? And what I really enjoyed about every time I picked up a cigarette that I liked, it was Virginian blend, and it was the smoothness that I was after, right? So when I picked up this Canadian Virginian, vaped it, super smooth, right? I mixed this one at 8%, slightly creamy, not as leafy. That was my upfront sort of notes on this. Guy, what did you think?
Yep. Nice sweet leaf. It's exactly my notes. Sweet leaf tobacco, a slight earthiness. I found it pleasantly sweet, and out of the entire range, this is one of my favorites. I really like this. It is what I recommend using on that recipe that I put out there quite some time ago, as a NET base to to basically add any teas into. And this, out of all of the ones that I used, this was my favorite. It really, really comes up nicely. It is a creamy kind of tobacco, very surprising for an NET. Very, very light on the earthiness. It's almost not there, which is usually typical of an NET. Very, very, very nice tobacco. This.
Yeah. So all of the above, and I also get this right in the beginning. You get a slight grassy note to it, almost grassy, like in a not freshly cut grass, like grassy. Dry grass that makes it, that distinguishes it a little bit from the other guys and like the A+ blend. This is a little bit something extra to it, and it's got that Virginian vibe to it. I've also got this as naturally sweet, a slight grassy nose, nice medium. I find it a little bit stronger than the A+ blend in terms of the tobacco note, which is natural because of its blend composition, but incredibly smooth. And I found it with all of the sticks mixed up. I mean, the stuff is all smooth. There's all nothing smooth, harsh about any of them. And I mean and I think that's the beauty of NETs, that they are smooth. I mean, shit, it's very cool. So this one I also did. I did one at 6% and one at 8%. The 8% is better, so it's got a fuller flavor. But you can do it at 6% and have no shortcomings there. Maybe 6% is a base, and then add your bits if you want it as a standalone and just have a slight accenting flavor. 6 and then 8 as a single.
Yeah, I said here at 8%, this was a delicious medium blend Virginian tobacco, super smooth. I would use this to fill out more leafy tobaccos like Latakia, excuse me. So pairing this with a spicier, leafier tobacco would be bang on. It has a delicious creamy finish, and I said I love this one. This one was just absolute joy to my palate. I love this one. Then, you guys want to add to that? Move on? Cool.
That's good.
So, I didn't have this one. Maybe who had American Virginian?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys take it away on this one. Guy?
All right. Right, so I mixed this up. I actually mixed up all of the sticks mix at 6%, except for this one, based on the notes from the website. Mixed this up at 10%, and to be very honest with you, didn't feel it needed the 10%. It was pretty wild. It was pretty strong. I get leafy, sweet, mellow, and mild tobacco with a mild earthiness. Overall, this was severely delicious. It was. I really wasn't expecting anything quite as good as this. It's sweet. The Virginia side of it is deadly accurate. It's got that grassiness, that kind of hay nuance to it, complemented by perfect sweetness. Overall, it's a fantastic tobacco to work with. Pairings, I suppose I'd probably go back to the vanilla on this, a bit of butterscotch, maybe a bit of Kentucky bourbon or something like that to bring that with, and maybe add a touch of RY4 in there to sweeten it up a little bit more after the Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah, so same here. So this one, as per the A+ blend, I got that fresh cigarette packet vibe as soon as you open it. So this sort of modeled after a Marlboro. The big red that they call on some of the notes, and it does it, man. So full-bodied again, that nice sweetness, a nice light tobacco, but so it's a full tobacco, but it's light at the same time. It's not an overbearing tobacco note to it. So it's a flavor as an ex-smoker that you'll be able to pick up and recognize that tobacco flavor for it. I also said that it almost felt a little bit dry with a very full flavor. So it's a dryish tobacco, not a sort of a moist tobacco. I mean, the flavor experience is that of a dry tobacco. And I mean, again, the options with most of these is just to accentuate and to highlight the main points of it. And I think most of them can probably be blended with a bit of vanilla and sweeter notes like a caramel or a butterscotch or things like that. And I think the difficulty lies there for inexperienced guys is to have too much caramel or butterscotch or whatever it might be, because you're gonna kill the faint nuances that some of these guys have, and especially this one. If you're going to add too much caramel or butternut or vanilla, you're gonna kill the main profile. So keep it light. Start low, maybe 0.5, and then go up to 1 with a vanilla or a caramel or something. And the custards as well should just be there. I like the RY4 angle perhaps to give that nice caramel vibe and sweetness to it. But yeah, again, this one also I mixed at 8%. I didn't venture to 10. 8% doesn't need, as I said, it doesn't need long steep. There's only one of them that they recommend a bit of a higher steep. But all of these I did on 1 day, 5 days, 7 days, and 14 days. And man, there's no need for extended steeps, even with this one. There's a very nice, very, very familiar taste. If you're an ex-smoker, that reminds you of a packet of Marlboros, a nice, loose, full, dry tobacco flavor.
Cool.
Good.
All right, that wraps it up for these 5 tobaccos that we focused on from an NET perspective. We have some more flavors that we'll run through in the future. I just want to thank Guy and Rudi for joining me on the show, testing out these flavors. I want to thank Stixmix Thai for sending these over to us for testing and for making them available here in South Africa. I think any tobacco enthusiast or somebody that wants to get into this is going to be useful information for them. So thank you so much, Thai Stixmix, for getting this out to us. Guy, where can people find Pied Piper, and where can they reach you?
Okay, well, you can get me on the eSig SA forum. I've got a supporting vendors page there, and I have in the forum or in my thread there, the links to the various dealers are available. Mostly Pretoria, got a chat in PE. Shout out to Ronaldo, and that's where you're gonna pick it up. Cool,
Rudi. People have seen you on the show here, of course. They can find you here. They can find you on Mixologists on Facebook. But where can they actually find some of the commercial stuff that you have online?
Yeah, so I mean, we're busy with a very exciting project. We're launching. It's called One. It's modeled after a very familiar and popular international chocolate. It's got a chocolate bar which has 2 names in different countries. Here it's called something, and in Europe and in the States it has a name reminiscent of a planet. So it's something that I've been working on for about 8 months to perfect. And what's difficult for me is to create a sweet profile, so that I don't do any sweetness. So this is a very sweet chocolate bar with caramel and nougat. So I was a little bit out of my comfort zone, but understand that that's what the guys want on the street. The bar is like a nice sweet vape, and I mean all the vapes are sweet. So we're launching that at VapeCon. It's called One, and it's a collab using the facilities and the know-how from Benji at Vapor Mountain. We'll be at the Vapor Mountain stand, and it'll be available online and in most stores from September onwards. So yeah, exciting project, and hope it does well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me with this show. And yeah, we'll see if we can do another NET show in the future. Everybody that has watched this, thank you so much for watching this. Remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you've used NETs before, what recipes you've mixed up where you really enjoyed them, what NET from Sticks Mix you really like. Leave all of that in the comments below and we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys.
Welcome to thefogvlog.
Hey guys, just a quick one. If you want to support this channel, go check out VS One Shots on BLCK. They ship internationally, and you'll find a range of mixes in this VS collaboration line, all South African. Thanks for watching.